We need to talk about Chris Barnes. Chris Barnes is the current lead singer of 6 Feet Under and the former lead singer for Cannibal Corpse, both of whom have had an insurmountable and inarguable impact on the evolution, the popularity, and the commercial success of the genre that we now know today as death metal. Sure, death metal has changed a lot over the years. It has become more inclusive, it has become more progressive and open-minded, while also continuing to challenge the norms of popular music with highly controversial, gruesome, downright shocking artwork and lyrical content and themes. And sure, it's also splintered off into a ton of different subgenres, more so than any other branch of the heavy metal tree. I mean, there's technical death metal, there's melodic death metal, there's brutal death metal, there's death grind, there's deathcore, there's probably some other version of death metal being conceived right now that I've yet to discover, like post-new wave disco death thrash metal. I don't fucking know, nor do I fucking care. All that really matters is that none of this exists without a man like Chris Barnes. Which is why following Barnes' career as of late has been incredibly challenging, shall we say. I mean, holy shit, where do we even begin dissecting the flops in Chris Barnes' career, you know? There's Torture and Nightmares of the Decomposed, which are cram-packed with some of the most hilariously simplistic and lazy and cringeworthy death metal ever written, recorded, and produced. There's also the infamous Graveyard Classics album series, as I guess we're calling it, which shows Barnes and the rest of 6 Feet Under recreating classic cuts from AC/DC, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and many more classic hard rock and heavy metal bands. It's basically the worst drug-induced karaoke imaginable, pandering to boomers and grumpy old men like Chris Barnes, who just can't really handle the fact that they're not young and hot and cool anymore. And then there's the fact that Barnes' voice has degraded to the point of being a fucking meme. We regularly mock and mimic Barnes here on the Metal Meltdown, and it's gotten to the point where people are telling me, your jokey Chris Barnes voice, like the voice you do to make fun of him and his music, is unironically better than the actual voice that Barnes uses to make his music. But remarkably, none of these actions have infuriated or annoyed or upset metalheads the same way that Barnes' recent comments towards modern death metal apparently have. In response to a death metal roundtable hosted by Knotfest.com and featuring members of Cannibal Corpse, the Black Dahlia Murder, Gatecreeper, and Undeath, Chris Barnes jumped on Twitter and wrote the following: I just watched a death metal podcast on YouTube that was done about a week ago with the top death metal vocalists. It made me physically ill. I despise what this genre has become. Not too long after this, Hatebreed's Jamie Josta asked Chris Barnes to elaborate on his comments, even inviting him to appear on his podcast, The Josta Show. And from here, the exchange gets a little bit heated, with Josta saying that Barnes is weak, implying that he is a hypocrite for not promoting younger, more modern death metal bands, while also actively slamming what death metal has apparently become. Barnes, to his credit, does attempt to play it cool for at least a little bit, but it doesn't take long for him to say that Josta and many other people are just riding bandwagons, and the exchange ends with Barnes saying that he's not a shill, unlike everyone else apparently. Not less than 24 hours later, Barnes says on Facebook, every death metal singer sucks except me. Which in theory could have been read as sarcasm, but in order for this to work, we'd have to forget literally everything that I just read out loud, so, you know. I'm willing to bet that it's not. And from here, ladies and gentlemen, shit just spiraled out of fucking control. I legitimately feel bad for whoever manages PR for 6 Feet Under right now, because they are navigating a bona fide fucking shitstorm. There have been tons of memes and snappy comments. In response, Barnes has blocked pretty much the entire metal community on Twitter, including reputable names such as Lamb of God's Mark Morton, who, as far as we can tell, did absolutely nothing to trigger Barnes. One Twitter user by the name of Tony Iommi's Missing Fingertips says that they were blocked for posting a Spotify playlist. Another Twitter user by the name of Lily says they were blocked by Barnes after sending him a picture of a pig. Apparently. Another Twitter user named Splintered Crone says that they were blocked after wishing Barnes a happy Chanukah. Literally, a holiday greeting. Got the banhammer. Okay. And amazingly, there are hundreds of people that can say that as of very recently, they were blocked by Barnes for reasons that they don't really fully understand. It genuinely appears as though Barnes is spending the majority of his time on Twitter blocking random people, irregardless of whether or not they have actually done anything to offend or hurt him. And while I had initially intended to stay out of this controversy, I no longer can, because it has officially reached the point where major metal outlets such as Loudwire and MetalSucks.net are actively commenting on the matter themselves. It appears that this drama, this bit of spectacle, has consumed every single corner of the Metalverse. I open my phone and I read something about Chris Barnes. I went to a record store the other day, and when I was walking through the metal section, I absolutely, legitimately, 100% no bullshit heard somebody say, "Hey, did you hear about that stuff with Chris Barnes? What the fuck, man?" I just can't escape it, man. It's fucking everywhere. I have made this video today not to bore you with details of this apparently never-ending spectacle, nor have I made it to once again reiterate how much I dislike Chris Barnes and 6 Feet Under. I have made it to send a very simple message to everyone, including Chris Barnes. Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. Shut up. Look at me. Look me right in the fucking eye. Shut the fuck up! Dear Chris Barnes, your actions over the past week have proven that you are completely irrelevant and completely fucking incompetent. You are a grumpy old man who ironically needs to grow the fuck up just a little bit, but you won't because you're a grumpy old man. You have made terrible music in the past, and you will very likely make terrible music again in the foreseeable future, because you have no idea how to make good music anymore. That's why, on prior records, you had to hire members of Whitechapel and Cannabis Corpse. They had to come in and write your music for you, because you're just really fucking bad at it. The moment you contribute something to death metal other than the world's most god-awful Judas Priest karaoke, give me a fucking call. Until then, sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. And to everyone else, please stop. Or at the very least, calm the fuck down. I have no idea why so many people are looking for some kind of meaningful conversation with a man whose tendency upon being confronted is to immediately shut the fuck down. He is an utter buffoon and a genuine snowflake, so fragile, so soft, and so weak that not only can he not be bothered with even the most constructive criticism, but apparently he freaks the fuck out whenever you breathe on Twitter. He will block you simply for existing. Stop asking him to do better. Stop asking him to elaborate. Stop sending him memes. Send them to me instead. I would love to see all your great 6 Feet Under memes. He doesn't. He doesn't want anything to fucking do with it. So fuck it. I say we let Barnes wallow away in his fragile egomania and horrible fucking taste in music. There's tons of great modern death metal out there. This month alone, there's some great tunes on the way from Mass Worship, Legion, Blood Incantation have an ambient EP coming out, which sounds really cool. Venom Prison are putting out an awesome album this fucking weekend. It's so fucking good. Go jam all that shit. If you really want to stick it to fucking Barnes, go jam all those bands and so many more, like Undeaf and Tomb Mold and Rivers of Nile and Immortal Bird and so many more modern death metal bands that apparently, according to Barnes, can't hold a candle to him. For once, instead of fighting fire with fire, let's fight fire with water. Don't give him the time of day. Stop engaging with him. Send your memes to me. That's all. Have a pleasant fucking day. I wonder how much of this is going to sound hilariously hypocritical. Oh well, fuck it. Only one way to find out. On the bright side, I get to drink a bunch of gin. That's pretty great. Wow. That's good gin, too. Don't worry, we're not going to make this a regular habit on the Metal Meltdown. I don't really like making these types of videos. I felt I just needed to say all of this because this channel is such a regular opponent of Barnes, and because y'all keep fucking asking me, and because unless I say something, you're going to keep asking me. The drama will very likely continue to escalate and grow and evolve in all kinds of new and fascinating and semi-disgusting ways, but from here on, me and Barnes are fucking donezo. Press this button right here to subscribe to the Metal Meltdown if you somehow aren't already. Click either of these videos here for something a touch more entertaining and educational. And as always, unless your name is Chris Barnes, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.